Senator Warren on WebEx.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So in 2013, my first year in the Senate, this committee considered competing ideas to tackle the problem of military sexual assault. Senator Gillibrand's Military Justice Improvement Act would have put the decision to prosecute sexual assault cases, along with the authority to convene a court-martial, outside the accused's chain of command. Unfortunately, Senator Gillibrand's proposal was not included in the Defense Authorization Bill that year. An alternative series of proposals that proponents argued would be more effective were adopted instead that year. And that alternative approach included several important items, including requiring commanders' performance evaluations to include evidence of their compliance with annual command climate assessments of their handling of sexual assault cases. And I remember many folks saying that's what's going to get the job done. So let me ask, Colonel Christensen, since 2013, since we put those rules in place, has the sexual assault problem in the military gotten better, gotten worse, or stayed about the same?
It's gotten worse, significantly.
All right. So 1 year after those reforms were adopted, in 2014, this committee went a small step further and required that commanders' performance appraisals include whether they had established a climate of properly managing and fairly evaluating sexual assault. People told us this is going to get the job done. Colonel Christensen, are you aware of any commander who has been relieved or not promoted based on that criterion?
No, I would say the only kind of exception to that is the Fort Hood report resulted in people being fired, but it wasn't because of a climate survey. It was because they ignored their climate surveys and all the other issues there.
So in fact, it's interesting you'd raise Fort Hood. Fort Hood is kind of what proves the point here, isn't it? The Fort Hood Independent Review Commission, which looked at this issue, found, and I quote, a permissive environment for sexual assault and sexual harassment, suggesting that this was not getting in the way of anyone's career advancement up to that point. So is it fair to say that we have no idea if commanders are really being held accountable in any way whatsoever for their handling of sexual assault in units under their command?
Yeah, I would know of no publicly available data that shows this. The Privacy Act often is used by the Department of Defense to shield anyone who would have been fired. But we do know that there are problems within units like Fort Hood that were long and systemic, that commander after commander knew about. Senior commanders knew about it, yet nothing was done.
So let me just ask you plainly then, Colonel Christensen, have we gone far enough when it comes to holding commanders accountable for sexual assault?
Absolutely not. But one of the problems we have is because we have a commander-controlled justice system, it's very difficult to find where the line is to hold them accountable, because then it crosses into unlawful command influence. That's one of the reasons it'd be much better if we took prosecution authority out of their hands, because then you could more easily hold people accountable.
It's a very interesting point. You know, military leaders to a person have come before this committee since 2013 saying we cannot take commanders out of the chain of command over sexual assault cases. Commanders are the only way that we can solve this problem, and we will fix it. They said that, and yet here we are 8 years later and thousands of sexual assaults later. And not only have commanders not fixed anything, but the problem has actually gotten worse. And we don't even know if the people we're relying on to address sexual assault are being held accountable or are incentivized to care about this scourge in their ranks. Military commanders have had their chance. They said they would fix this, and they didn't. It is long past time for this committee and for the Congress to do the right thing and pass Senator Gillibrand's proposal. I'm going to fight alongside her until we get this done. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Warren.